Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video we're looking at a fun new watch from Oris, and I really do mean fun with this one. This is the Big Crown ProPilot X Kermit edition. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as an authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout the video, if you have further questions or are looking to buy this watch, a link will be down in the description below to the product page where you can, of course, do those things. But guys, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this new Oris watch. Now, Oris has been on a tear since the introduction of its Caliber 400 series of movements in 2020, with the new Caliber first being paired with the popular Aquis Diver's watch, before seeing its broader introduction within the Big Crown pointer date family with the Caliber 403 released late in 2021. And given its success and impressive specs for the price point, the wider adoption of the new Caliber now makes quite a bit of sense. However, the announcement of the ProPilot X Caliber 400 released last March still came out of left field, taking one of the brand's lesser known and more extreme models and giving it a refreshing while intriguing update with some splash of color in the process. Today we're taking a look at a watch that takes that more extreme design format of the ProPilot X and takes it one step further, or maybe I should say one leap further, with a fun dial color and date complication inspired by none other than Kermit, the frog of Sesame Street fame. Yes, I am being serious. And in this video, we'll take a closer look at the surprising ProPilot X Kermit edition, a watch that proves that Oris knows how to have some fun, so let's take a closer look. Now, while the rest of the watch is more or less identical to the rest of the ProPilot X family with its gray, pale, blue, or salmon pink dial formats, this new Kermit edition comes off as something new and especially eye-catching. Set beneath a very slightly domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside only, the Kermit edition offers a matte shade of green for its primary surface that seems perfectly color matched to one of Sesame Street's most iconic characters, with the rest of the dial elements leaning into more established ProPilot X Caliber 400 format with a simple printed minute track, long linear indices, and a brushed handset at the center. Both the dial indices and hands are treated with white superluminova that, while functional, are not going to be to the standard you would expect from other Oris watches and some Pilot watches. Another note is that the certain lighting conditions, the contrast of the green shade of the dial and the white hands and indice can make legibility a challenge at certain times, probably in really direct sunlight, for example. In terms of dial text, the Oris wordmark is printed at noon with only ProPilot X and 5 days at 6, resting just above a neatly faceted date window with a date disc underneath, providing this watch's strangest and most charming attribute, a special date wheel with Kermit's face set against a darker shade of green popping into view on the first of every single month. The other 30 days offer white text and the same green shade as the dial, really allowing that surprise every single month to be that much more of an eye catcher. Digging into a conversation on the case and wearing experience presented by the ProPilot Kermit, the case comes in with a 39mm diameter paired with a 46.9mm lug to lug and relatively svelte 12mm of thickness. Smaller case diameters have been more of a thing at Oris in the past few years. You've seen it with their aquatic models like the Diver 65, as well as the Aquis, as well as a number of different options within the Big Crown family like the Caliber 403 and the Servo Volante. For me, this watch wears exceptionally well on wrist, it wears true to size, and should work well on a wide variety of wrists out there, except on the two extremes of the bell curve. Being cased in grade 2 titanium and complete with a titanium bracelet with especially slim links, the watch is also impressively light, feeling substantially lighter even compared to a stainless steel case of similar size on a leather strap. Moving over to finishing, the entire case and bracelet presents a combination of brushing and sandblasted finishes that give the watch as a whole a restrained and utilitarian look, especially contrasting with the brightness of the dial. Adding a measure of visual interest are a charming angled coin edge to the sloping step bezel's lower portion, with a slightly conical signed screw-down crown following the design format with deeply engraved ridges. The threading on the crown is very well done, and pairing that screw-down exhibition case back with this screw-down crown, it is going to allow 100 meters of water resistance in the process. Case architecture is distinctive and modern, with the stark angular surfaces and sharp faceting to break up the central case, crown guards, and 19mm lugs. Set between the lugs and equipped with end links that offer this watch a bit more of an integrated feel, we have a full titanium bracelet with screwed adjusted links and a 3-link design that tapers from 19mm at the lugs to around 16mm at the impressively milled clasp, complete with the Oris Aviation seatbelt clasp that does present more broadly than the rest of the bracelet. And while this clasp and bracelet are very well finished, I adore for this clasp and how it looks. There is no micro adjustment to speak of, and with that being a factor, combined with the length of the individual links, around 7 millimeters, means that finding a perfect fit might be a bit more difficult for some people out there. Flipping the new ProPilot X over, we have a secondary sapphire exhibition case back, showcasing the aforementioned caliber 400 on the inside. Now, at first glance, this is a very solid looking movement. It's a bit more utilitarian in its finishing and not being as artisanal, but for the price range, very well done. The hollowed rotor has a vertically brushed finish applied to it, and it is secured to the movement with a new, simpler pin and lubricated sleeve system that replaces the traditional ball bearing rotor configuration. Oris claims that this new design will allow the watch to be more efficient with its self-winding, and behind the rotor you will see the double barrels providing the caliber 400 with its exceptional 120 hours of power reserve. The new balance assembly is highly resistant to magnetic fields with a new silicone anchor and escapement wheel. When the movement was exposed to 2,250 Gauss during testing, time deviation was around 10 seconds a day, easily passing the required 30 seconds a day at 200 Gauss requirement for the ISO 764 standards for an anti-magnetic movement. Beyond being under duress, Oris quotes that the movement will run between -3 to +5 seconds a day with operating at 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 Hertz. By any metric, the claim capabilities presented by the caliber 400 are impressive, offering a 10-year service interval accompanied by a 10-year warranty for those who register their watch with My Oris, giving you a good peace of mind and extra support in your buying process. Perhaps the biggest downside with these movements is they are newer to the market, having not had the opportunity to prove themselves over the course of decades like the off-the-shelf calibers that you'll find from some of their other offering. It's the more attainable tier, but if you look at it on paper in terms of what it's providing, pretty impressive across the board. Again, to unpack, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 Hertz. It does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stop in the second when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and a power reserve of 120 hours. And speaking anecdotally to timekeeping being presented by this particular Kermit, this watch kept impressive time well within its quoted standards, better than what I've seen from some other caliber 400s even, at -2 to +1 seconds a day when testing across 5 different positions. So now to unpack when looking at this Oris ProPilot X Kermit edition. So let's just in general unpack some pros and cons here. First with some of the cons. Number one, no micro adjustment. I think that absolutely has to be considered when you're dealing with a bracelet that is this exceptional. It is a very good bracelet. I love the clasp system, but that is one thing that might be difficult for those that are trying to get a perfect fit. The lume is subpar for a pilot's watch and for Oris standards, so a little bit below average here. And then because of the shade of green chosen by the dial, when contrasting with the white markers on the dial in bright light, it can create some legibility concerns. Now shifting over to the pros, let's just get this out of the way. This watch is a lot of fun. So this is a watch that I think bridges the gap between enthusiasts as well as people that are just casual, maybe interest in watches and just see something like this and be like, hey, I think that's kind of fun. I like what they're going for there. The bracelet and case finish of these ProPilot X's are fantastic, very well done. Caliber 400 in terms of its specifications, 5 days of power reserve is class leading for this price range along with the Balmatic calibers from Baum and Mercier. So all in all, you take one of Oris's best releases last year, if not their best, with the ProPilot X and infuse a green frog with a lot of charm. Hey, I think that's an interesting formula and an equation I don't think we ever expected, but hey, I'm not complaining. But all right, guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Really would appreciate that. And also, if you're in the market for this watch, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is an authorized dealer of 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. And in addition to that, how we're able to create all this content is through selling watches. So we really would love to have your business. We know you can buy a watch anywhere, but again, it really allows us to continue to bring great content like this here and on our main channel. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.